Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about, all about the zodiac sign Aquarius. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I'll look at, as far as the personality of this sign, Aquarius can be rather eccentric. They could be unorthodox. They like to do things in their own way. They don't like being on like some regimented type of schedule. They do much better when whatever it is they're doing, whether it's a job or what have you, to have their own freedom to do things when they want to do them. Aquarius can be very cerebral. I do believe on average it is the smartest sign of the zodiac because keep in mind that your Aquarius is ruled by not just Saturn but Uranus, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and I think that has a lot to do with that. And I mean, that is just my belief anyway on the sign. And anyway, as far as Aquarius goes, they could be rather unconventional. Aquarians are also they could be very unpredictable and do things with a lot of spontaneity. Aquarius can be that kind of person. You might not hear from them for some time, and all of a sudden they could just pop up out of the blue. Air signs in general tend to be unpredictable, I believe, and Aquarius can perhaps unequivocally be the most unpredictable of all the zodiac signs, period, I believe. Now, Aquarians often have a very strong reforming urge, and they could also be, what's interesting about this sign, it's not just, Aquarians could be very ingenious and innovative. They often can have that MacGyver syndrome, so to speak, and often can you, even if it's just making something out of household items that you never saw before. Aquarius is that sign that is always like thinking forward. They're very progressive. They're very futuristic. They like to talk about new concepts and ideas. They often disdain convention. And what's interesting about Aquarius is that they can be very paradoxical. It could be a sign that can make friends readily, but at the same time have difficulty getting close to others. And it really, Aquarius, I mean, also the fact that they are very futuristic, they could be very ingenious and have a lot of new ideas. However, they could still be very set in their ways despite being progressive in thought. So even though they're open often to new ideas, being a fixed sign, they could be rather rigid and set in their own viewpoints in general. So, and really, Aquarius is also a sign that could have a lot of humanitarian instincts. Aquarius could be that kind of person that would do a lot of unpaid labor for somebody because they have a very selfless way about them. This sign is often about doing things in group-oriented fashion, doing things with others. They're not like Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. So it's really being the antithesis of Leo. It's not about standing out in general, but it's really about standing out maybe in group activities or doing things with others, blending in with others. They're not really about standing out in general, not as much as Leo anyway. Well, next thing I want to talk about as far as Aquarius goes is the appearance. Well, this sign could be tall, generally between middle stature and tall. Can often have a light brown or sandyish color hair, light complexion, blue or hazel eyes. Aquarius often can have like a squarish type head or in a broad jawline, or a rectangular type shape head. Aquarius can often have a stocky and squarish build, but there are some Aquarians that are more lean in their size, but still could be strongly made and wiry and muscular. Seems like there's maybe two distinct types. There's one that's more stockier, and then you have another one that's more lean in their size, but still strongly made. In Aquarius, the eyes can often have kind of an odd shape or exotic look to them. The nose could be very straight or aquiline. When you look at Aquarius, as far as the teeth go, I see that the teeth with Aquarius being of just regular or normal kind of size and strength. Nothing unusual or unorthodox about them, even though Aquarius themselves could be rather unorthodox and unconventional. Shoulders can be very broad and square, and Aquarians often in build have a long trunk. And anyway, as far as money goes with Aquarius, well, money habits can be somewhat enigmatic and paradoxical. This sign is very interesting and unusual, to say the least, and it goes without saying, this can apply to money habits. Aquarius could be extravagant, perhaps with things on smaller items, on things that generally don't cost as much, but perhaps they could be frugal and more thrifty when it comes to larger items such as like a car, automobile, or stereo system, something that's more of a bigger type of a purchase. And Aquarius too, unlike say Taurus or Capricorn, they're not really about economics generally. They're not really concerned really as much as an earth sign as far as accumulating material wealth, but because they are so smart, they can be very ingenious and have a lot of new ideas. They could always come up often with this get-rich-quick scheme to make money, or make money using their mind, using their scientific and often innovative ability. So money for Aquarians, they put their mind to it, is really not much of an issue with them. So really, as far as also with Aquarius, in really that they can, as far as their career goes, well, with careers, I mean, Aquarius can often do something connected with the scientific endeavor. They may do well with computers or electronics, and esoteric subjects such as astrology, aeronautics, rocket science. Aquarians can be very cerebral, and there's really nothing, as far generally speaking, that's going to daunt them as far as something of an intellectual nature. It could also, Aquarians could be good with work connected with social reform. They could do well working as a social advocate. Whatever they do, they often may show a lot of selflessness in whatever they're doing, and this could be that sign that may work a lot and not always get paid for all the hours that they're working, because Aquarius has that nature that's very selfless. It's really about giving and not necessarily anticipating anything in return. This is the sign of the humanitarian. It's the sign I consider of the universal friend, and Aquarians will often do things for friends and not anticipate anything in return. And as far as a career goes, whatever Aquarius does, often they could have an aversion to having a consistent or regimented routine or schedule. It's not generally that 9 to 5 person. They often want their independence and freedom to do whatever it is they want to do, and work at their own pace and do work in their own times. I knew somebody that had a sun sign Aquarius, and she told me, she says, Eddie, I make my own schedule. I was thinking, yeah, that's a typical Aquarian statement. I work when I want to work, do it when I want to do it. So anyway, well, as far as the health goes for Aquarius, well, Aquarius can often be very robust, and they often can be very healthy as well, and that they just seem to radiate really a lot of health and vigor. And Aquarians, though, they're not going to generally have the stamina, vitality, endurance of a fire sign, say, but they still, their health could be adequate on average. Aquarians can often get problems with the shins, with the ankles, ankle sprains, ankle injuries in general. They can get often have poor blood circulation. Anemia can be common with Aquarius. A lot of their illnesses can be something that comes very spontaneously, something unpredictable. It could come from some freak, unusual accident. What I've noticed too, though, and I haven't really done a lot to confirm this, but the thing about Aquarius, seems like some Aquarians I've noticed have epilepsy. It seems to be more common with them than a lot of other signs. I don't know if maybe it's because it's something that comes on unexpectedly, and Aquarius is this unpredictable sign. Epilepsy, I have researched, it seems like it can come sometimes from after having a car accident, and a car accident is something that comes in kind of an extemporaneous fashion. It's something unanticipated, so I'm wondering if maybe there's a correlation with that, but that I'm not 100% sure of. But it does seem like the Aquarians can seem to have, and I'm not saying all, but I'm just talking in general. It seems like, I mean, epilepsy, I don't believe is that common for anybody regardless of sign, but it seems like they may have a little greater propensity than average to have that. So anyway, and another thing as far as Aquarius goes is love. Well, in love, well, this is interesting as well for the sign. This sign can be somebody, people born under this sign as far as matters of the heart go. They're more, Aquarius is more of like that universal friend, as I've stated before. Now, they could be rather detached in matters of the heart. If they get to know somebody for a long time and you win them over, they could be that significant other for life. I mean, Aquarius is a fixed sign, but a lot of it's more about intellectual stimulation with them. They're all Aquarians, even with their loved ones, often are looking at those people as really good friends. Aquarians might take a while to establish that love connection with somebody. They often want to be friends with someone for a protracted period before it reaches that significant other stage, before it hits a romantic level. And in love, Aquarius can be rather, I'd say, unpredictable, to say the least. I mean, they could be someone that knows you platonically for a while, then maybe they'll reveal that they just love you just out of the blue, kind of thing. And as far as love goes for them, Aquarius being unorthodox and unconventional as they are, I think this sign over others may choose somebody maybe with that has a big age disparity between them. Like say for example, if the woman's 40 and may choose someone at 25, for example. I'm just throwing this out there arbitrarily. It's just because Aquarius is not a nonconformist, and they don't conform with the norm. Just because the average person may choose somebody that's close to their age, it doesn't mean Aquarius is going to go with that. I mean, Aquarius is just very unconventional in what they do, and often this can apply to love as well. Aquarius can be a rebel at heart, and they often just like to go against the grain and go against what the majority does. I mean, normal is very subjective. We say normal is the average. Well, Aquarians are generally far from average. So, and as far as anything, as far as the sex with Aquarius, they obviously, I mean, I see Aquarius as a sign that wants all the new sex toys that are out there. They often have their own unusual things regarding sex in terms of whether it's positions or what have you. So anyway, and then also, last but not least, as far as Aquarius in love, they could be very considerate of their lovers. They like to have their freedom. I think that's why Aquarius is kind of like Gemini in love. It's for different reasons. Aquarius likes to have, I think what it is Aquarius can be hard to tie down in love because of the freedom complex they have. It's because of their independence, because they want to be free. And with Gemini, I think it's more of a commitment thing. With Gemini, there's just something with Gemini that just has this aversion to commitment. I think sometimes the love can actually scare Gemini. And as far and because Gemini likes to have their variety and diversify, but with Aquarius, I think it's more of just an independence thing. And I think a lot of times love for Aquarius, they might feel it might inhibit them or prohibit them from their freedom in general. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for all about Aquarius. And stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about, well, all about Pisces. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.